Welcome dear students. Today in this video lecture we are going to discuss about the capillary method to find out the viscosity. So let we understand the apparatus and the method. The basic principle which we apply, that is the Hagen-Poiseuille's theory, and using that Hagen-Poiseuille's theory we calculate the viscosity of unknown fluids. So let we start with the apparatus. Here one constant head tank is there in which we fill the viscous liquid, and here we have one capillary tube which is having the diameter of d, and we observe the head loss in this length, that is the L, and here we have one tube using which we can measure the head. And for measurement of the discharge we have one measuring tank in which we measure the discharge of the liquid from the capillary tube. The Hagen-Poiseuille's theory is used and which is very helpful. So let we write various nomenclatures we use for the derivation. One more thing I want to tell you, that during this experiment we kept the temperature of the fluid constant so that we get the exact result about the viscosity. So let we take the d is the diameter of capillary tube, then h mu is the coefficient of viscosity, then rho is the density of fluid. Now students, we apply the Hagen-Poiseuille's law to calculate the head loss in the length of L. H equals to 32 mu u cut L upon rho g into d to the power 2. Now students, we know that u cut is the average velocity, and we know that the u cut equals to the q divided by area, where q is the discharge. We measured the discharge using this measuring tank, and the area of this tube is pi by 4 d square, so we get q divided by pi by 4 d to the power 2. Now we put down the value of u cut, that is average velocity, in this expression. So we get h equals to the 32 mu u cut, which is having a q divided by pi by 4 d to the power 2 into the L whole to the divided by rho g into d to the power 2. So finally we get h equals to 128 mu q L divided by pi rho g d to the power 4. Now we make the subject mu from this expression, so we get mu equals to pi rho g d to the power 4 divided by 128 into ql. Student, L is known to us, q we measured using the measuring tank, d is diameter of pitot tube that we know, rho is constant and g is constant. So using this expression we can be able to calculate the value of viscosity for given unknown viscous fluid using the capillary tube method. Now students, we are going to measure the viscosity using another method, viscosity measurement using the rotating cylinder methods. Students, here let we understand the arrangement for measurement of viscosity using the rotating cylinder method. So here we have two different cylinder. One is inner cylinder having a radius of r1, and another is the r2, which is the external cylinders. So total the two coaxial cylinders are there, which is having a radius of r1 and r2. So the r2 minus r1 is a clearance in between these two cylinders, and in this clearance we have filled the viscous liquid for which we are going to measure the viscosity. Now students, we rotate the outer cylinders at an rpm of n and having angular speeds of omega, while the inner cylinder is a stationary one which is attached with this torsional spring, so that, and here we have one strain measurement meter is there, which measure the amount of torque which is transmitted from the outer cylinder to inner cylinder, and using the Newton's law of viscosity we can be able to calculate the viscosity for the given viscous fluid. So basic principle which is used to measure the viscosity in this method is Newton's law of viscosity. So let we take omega is the angular speed of outer cylinder, then small h is the clearance at bottom, so this is the small h, then capital H is the height of liquid in the annular space. Then mu is coefficient of viscosity. Then T is the torque. Now we calculate the linear velocity, or we can say the tangential velocity of both the cylinder, inner cylinder as well as outer cylinders. So V equals to R2 into omega, where the velocity of inner cylinder is 0 because it is a stationary one. So the velocity gradient over the clearance R2 minus R1 is outer cylinder having a speed of R2 into omega, where inner cylinder velocity is 0 and the distance between these two is R2 minus R1. So our final answer is R2 omega divided by R2 minus R1. Now students, we calculate the shear stress using the Newton's law of viscosity. So shear stress tau equals to mu du by dy. So we get mu into R2 omega upon R2 minus R1. And from shear stress we calculate the value of shear force. So shear force, which is indicated by F, equals to the shear stress into the surface area. So we get mu R2 omega upon R2 minus R1 into the surface area is 2 pi R1 into H. So the final answer of the shear force, we get F equals to mu omega R2 divided by R2 minus R1 into 2 pi R1 into H. Now students, let we consider the torque T1 which is exerted by the cylinder 2 on the cylinder 1 due to the shear actions in the liquid which is filled in the annular space. So just we write the T1, which is the torque on inner cylinder due to shear action. So T1 equals to the shear force into the radius. So we get mu r2 omega divided by r2 minus r1 into 2 pi r1 h into the radius of inner cylinder, that is r1. So the T1 equals to 2 pi mu omega capital H r1 to the power 2 into r2 divided by r2 minus r1. Now students, using the theory of footstep bearing, we can be able to calculate the torque applied on the inner cylinders, which is having the same theories, and it is indicated by T2. So using the theory of footstep bearing, we calculate the T2, which is the torque applied on inner cylinders, mu divided by 60T into pi square and r to the power 4. Here in this case of the r, the radius of inner cylinder is r1, so we need to put instead of r, r1, and the thickness of oil film is small h, so we have to apply the h instead of t. So we get the value of T2, that is mu divided by 60h into pi square and into r1 to the power 4. Now students, the total torque exerted on the inner cylinder, that is the summations of T1 and T2. So we get T, which is equals to the total torque. So T1 plus T2, which is equals to T. So now we put down the value of T1 and T2. So T1 is 2 pi mu omega h r1 to the power 2 r2 divided by r2 minus r1 plus this T2 means pi mu omega upon 2h into r1 to the power 4. Now we take the 2 pi mu r1 to the power 2 into omega common from both the term. So the remaining term is r2h upon r2 minus r1 plus r1 square divided by 4h. And if we make subject mu from this expression, then mu equals to 2 in the bracket r2 minus r1 into ht divided by pi r1 square omega in the bracket 4 capital H small h into r2 plus r1 square in the bracket r2 minus r1. And using this formula we can be able to calculate the mu. Students, r1 and r2 are the constant. H is also, we have know, that is a bottom clearance. Capital H is the height of the liquid we filled. The value of capital T we measure using the strain gauge. So we have all this value using the different instrument, and using that value we can be able to measure the value of mu, that is the viscosity of unknown viscous liquid. Now students, after discussion of this rotating cylinder methods, we are going for the third method, that is the falling sphere methods. Students, this falling sphere methods are work basis on the Stokes law, and we know that using the Stokes law, the viscous force acting on the sphere passing through the viscous liquid, which is given by the formula F equals to 3 pi mu u into the d. So this is the formula using which we can be able to calculate the viscous force acting on the sphere which is passing through the liquid, and it is given by the Stokes law. Here F is a viscous force, mu is the viscosity, u is the speed of the sphere, and d is the diameter of sphere. So let me write the d is the diameter of sphere, then the u is the velocity of sphere, Now students, let we discuss. Here L is the length which is traveled by the sphere in the viscous liquid. Then T is the time required to travel by the sphere to cover the length L. Then rho S is the density of sphere. Rho F is the density of fluids. W is the weight of sphere. Then Fb is the buoyant force acting on the sphere. Students, here what we have do, we have the known diameter sphere is there, and we fall under this liquid for which we are going to measure the viscosity, and we have marked the two different point, and the distance between these 2 points is L. Here the sphere is fall under the gravitational forces, but after certain period of time the viscous force is a predominant, and the buoyant force and the viscous force are balanced each other, and using that method we can be able to calculate the viscosity. We fall the given sphere which is from the top and it is moving towards the bottom under the gravitational accelerations, and we measure the velocity in between the 2 points which we mark, and the distance between the 2 points is L. So the velocity of the sphere under the liquid is becomes a u, which is equals to distance traveled divided by the time. So we get L by T, where L is the distance and the T is the time to cover this distance. Now we also know that W, that is the weight of sphere, which is equals to the rho V into the G, and rho is constant, so here we take as a rho S for the sphere, and the volume is pi by 6 d to the power 3 into the G. Now students, we calculate the buoyant forces acting on the sphere. Which is equals to the weight of fluid displaced. So pi by 6 d to the power 3 into the rho F into the G. That is the weight of fluid displaced by the sphere. Now students, for the equilibrium conditions, we know that viscous force acting equals to the difference of weight of sphere minus the buoyant forces. So we know that the viscous force acting on the falling sphere through the liquid is given by the Stokes formula, and that is the 3 pi mu u into d. So we write it down, the 3 pi mu u into d, which is equals to the weight of sphere. So weight of sphere is rho S into pi by 6 d to the power 3 into the G. So rho S pi by 6 d to the power 3 into the G, minus the buoyant force is pi by 6 d to the power 3 into rho F minus G. Now we make the subject mu from this expression. So we get the pi by 6 d to the power 3 into G in the bracket rho S minus rho F divided by this 3 pi u into d. So this dd is cancel it out as well as pi is cancel it out, and finally we get mu equals to g into d square divided by 18 into u into rho s minus rho f. And using this formula we can be able to calculate the viscosity using this falling sphere methods. In this case, using the time and the length, we can able to measure the velocity. G is constant, the diameter of sphere is also constant, and the density of sphere and the density of fluid is known to us. So using that parameter we can be able to calculate the viscosity of unknown liquid. Thank you students. Thank you for attending this lecture. Thank you.